right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co-host, Jake Ellenbogen, and we are continuing with our 2022 NFL Draft Prospect interviews. And joining us on the show today, we have Isaiah Graham-Mobley, linebacker from Boston College. How are you doing, Isaiah?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited to talk with you, man.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to answer your questions that you have.
Yeah, well, we're going to start it off at the very beginning. We kind of want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
Yeah, started young. I kind of have a pretty rich history in football in terms of my family. Godfathers all played football at Villanova. And then my dad went to Kutztown and played with John Mobley, who actually went along to play at the Denver Broncos. So we got some NFL history within the family. Started young, started with flag football, and then kind of got into it. I always grew up watching college football. Penn State, being from Pennsylvania, they were huge growing up, so they were always fun to watch. And then got into tackle football around like sixth grade or so, and then realized I was like, wow, this is fun. This is for me. And then it kind of just went off from there.
And now going off from there, I want to ask you, sounds like you watched a lot of football, and without naming a family member who was in the NFL, who would you say was your favorite NFL player growing up?
It definitely had to be Reggie Bush. When I watching Penn State, there was a lot of Penn State USC games going on, plus like the Rose Bowl and whatnot. So I would inadvertently be watching Penn State, and then I was like, whoa, who's number 5? And then I kind of just fell in love with him and watching him ever since. And then got the NCAA 06 and just used him whenever I possibly could, whoever I was playing against. He was awesome to watch.
He was definitely an electrifying player. He's a popular answer. It's not the first time someone said that on the show, and it definitely won't be the last time. Reggie Bush, USC days, definitely very iconic. But when it came time for you to play in college, you ended up at Boston College. What was it about Boston that made you want to go there?
Yeah, well, so I actually started at Temple for my first 5 years and just transferred to BC this past year in 2021.
Right.
Yeah. BC was a great place to transfer to. They had all the right, they said all the right things. They were on the right path in terms of, winning to, or, competing to win an ACC championship. And we had all the right guys to do it. So I was really excited about that. And Coach Hafley, it was his first season in 2020. So coming into COVID, that was really difficult for them, and they still figured out a way to win. And I liked their culture. I liked what they were saying. And I liked all the coaches that he built around him. So they said all the right things and ended up being a really good place to be.
Now, you mentioned Temple. That was when that I might be dating a little bit here, but was that when Rule was there?
I was there for Rules last year.
All right.
I was there for Rules last year.
Yeah, because I remember we interviewed, I forget who we interviewed, Derek. He's from my area because he went to Albany Academy. I live in upstate New York. And he followed Rule to Baylor, and I can't remember his name.
Derek Thomas.
Yes, Derek Thomas. There we go. The corner.
Yeah. He's a New York guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was cool because you said Temple, and obviously I'm a big fan of Rule. So it's cool that you were there for his last year. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you. Obviously, that caught my attention, so I want to follow up on that. But I want to ask you, as far as pitching, because even though you were at Temple for a while, you finished with Boston College. So if anyone, say I'm a student athlete and I'm considering going to Boston College, how would you, kind of seal the deal and sell me on Boston College as the place I should go to play, college football?
Yeah. In terms of the environment, first and foremost, it's like, it might be one of the safest places I've ever been to in terms of like convincing your parents to let you go off to somewhere, especially if like from, the West Coast or Midwest. Like, you're like, yeah, I want to go up to Boston. It's like, you're probably in the safest environment, potentially ever. but it was really nice. It was like a change from Philadelphia, being our Philly is definitely like, a little noisy, a little hectic. So going up to Boston is super quiet, get to go to sleep and not have to hear sirens and cars going by. The environment's great. The people around are super welcoming, really nice. You just got to get used to the Boston accent a little bit. It's a little different. But in terms of the sports, they have the stadiums right on campus. Like your locker room's right outside the stadium. The culture there is wonderful. The equipment staff is wonderful. The training staff is great. Everyone is, like I said, super welcoming. And then, you get to play in the ACC against the best competition in the country. And then, everybody wants to get a shot at playing Clemson. So it's also, you get that every year. Boston is a great time.
Yeah, well, that kind of leads into my next question, because I was going to say that you've played against a lot of really talented players during your time at Boston. So I was going to ask you, is there anyone that stands out to you as being the toughest guy that you had to go against?
I'd probably have to say Cunningham from Louisville, the quarterback. He's very dynamic. He's kind of like Lamar Jackson's little brother. He kind of like models his game after him. And he was all over the field. They don't run a triple option, but they have the option too. And so you have to, keep someone on the quarterback at all times, which is sometimes you just don't have the numbers to do so, depending on the scheme or the play that you're running. So, he changes the game for their entire team.
Yeah, and you also had to deal with like guys like Tutu Atwell, who we know pretty well. So I hear you. Plus, I can't imagine just putting myself in your shoes, just defending the triple option. It seems like unbelievably complicated, and just it feels like it takes a toll on any defense, and then obviously that's why so many colleges run it, at that level.
Right.
But do you have a favorite game from college? Like anything that stands out to you? Like, okay, that was definitely my favorite game I played in.
It had to be Missouri. It just like had the, all of the components of being like an instant classic. You have the ACC versus SEC. So, SEC thinks they're top tier as always. And then, their fans traveled really well. So right outside of our locker room is like normally where all of our fans lined up when we walk into the stadium. And we walk out and it was flooded full of Missouri fans. And they're all just chanting SEC outside of our locker room. So it was like you have the animosity coming out in the locker room. And then, the game was going back and forth the entire time. The game was tied up like 7-7 in almost the entire first quarter. And then, we get 14-14 and then we go up and then they come back and then we make some plays to stop them on the goal line. I almost got kicked out of the game for targeting. So it was like a ton of things that were going on. And then, which wasn't a targeting, by the way. But
no, I know. You didn't have to tell me that. I figured.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. We won't get into that.
And then them driving down the field for their kicker kicking a 62-yard to tie the game up for it to go into overtime, and then Brandon Sebastian intercepting the game. And then I've never been part of a field rush, a court rush. Like that was insane. Like everybody was just rushing the field. I immediately ran to my family. Everybody jumped down. It was awesome. Took pictures on the field and everything. It was dope.
That's crazy.
It definitely sounds like you said an instant classic. So something you'll remember forever, which is awesome.
Right.
But looking at your position of linebacker, what would you say is the most important trait for a linebacker to have?
I guess I would say like constant communication. Maybe not at the outside linebacker position, but definitely as the mic. And I know that in the NFL, the mic is usually the one that has the speaker in their helmet to get the plays from the defensive coordinator. So, once you get the play for them, it's kind of on you to really relay it to everyone else and make sure everyone is in the correct position to defend the offense. So definitely being a constant communicator is definitely super important. If you're quiet, no one's gonna respect you. No one's gonna follow you as a leader. And then 3, your defense isn't going to be able to work efficiently.
No, I absolutely agree with you. And I guess going back to the targeting, because I have just I can't stand that. It must feel good knowing, the NFL, they don't put such a premium on that in the NFL. I mean,
yeah.
I hate the idea, and I'll ask you a question that's different from this, but I just had to throw it out there because I just hate the idea, like you, the student athlete, like, you're not getting paid. I mean, now they have the NIL, but like you're not getting paid like millions of dollars. So like, for you, it's like you're trying to work your way up, and you're we've seen it before, big time bowl games, it's semifinals to go to the championship, and you get kicked out of the game for targeting, and it's like you're done. Like, it's such a fast game, and you're a linebacker, so it's hard to stop on a dime. If a guy's putting himself in harm's way, that's why the whole the fake slide by Kenny Pickett that went crazy. That's why people got so pissed about that, because it's like, well, all right, well, that's a whole new dynamic that just opened up if they allow that. Right. So yeah, pretty unfortunate, but it does get better in the NFL. So I'm happy for you there. But with that being said, talking about the top traits of the linebackers, what would you say, Isaiah, is your biggest strength as a linebacker?
So my biggest strength definitely is just running from sideline to sideline. I'm also a constant communicator. I'm very loud on the field. So I like to make sure that everyone's in their position, especially, you want to make a play. So in a way, as a linebacker, you're in the middle of everything. So you kind of are making sure, if you're a big play guy, you kind of make sure that everyone is in their correct position. So they kind of squeeze everything back into you, because if you keep everything in front of you, then, the football game becomes very easy. So I definitely think that just my speed, and then also my versatility and ability to adapt to, different game-like situations. We make in-game adjustments to, if they're running different plays, or they have different adjustments to what we initially thought. So just being adaptive, and then as the communicator, as the mic linebacker, once you change something, you have to remember it throughout the course of the game. It's important.
For sure. And, as the draft is approaching, is there anything that you're looking to improve on?
Yeah. When it comes to me playing fast, I do tend to get a little over aggressive. So I do run past in your hips sometimes in terms of tackling and whatnot. So that's just something, comes with practice. Definitely something that can easily be changed, and something that will be fixed.
Now, I did get a chance to, see you. You ran a 4.62 at the combine. What was that combine experience like, and what did you, what were your overall takeaways from it?
Yeah, it's definitely a super unique experience. I got there Wednesday, finished on Saturday. So everything leading up to it is kind of just like evaluations. They're putting thousands of dollars, millions of dollars into you. So they want to make sure that your body is capable of sustaining the years that they want you to play. So, you'd have a ton of medical evaluations, psychological evaluations, just making sure that they understand you as a player. And you get it, but, it gets a little tedious at the time. But the environment was incredible. My trainers were originally from Indianapolis, so they kind of knew the area and knew like really good food places to order from. So it was a really good experience from that point of view as well.
That's the most important part.
You gotta have the good food. And then it was funny because like all the bigger name guys were there as well from like Georgia, and they're all, just won the national championship. So you have like all of the super fans there. And, they're, obviously know them, but I'm a smaller name guy. So like, I wasn't expecting people to be there with like my pictures, and there actually was a couple of guys there, and I was like, whoa, you know who I am. So that was a really cool experience. Some kids like ran me down. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys know who I am. So that was kind of dope. And then, once you're done that, it's you finally get your sleep in on that Friday night, and then you kind of just wait around all day Saturday. But And then you get into what you came there to do, and then you perform because this is what you've been doing for the past 3 months. You just take it and put it all together, and hopefully it works out in your favor.
Well, yeah, it definitely sounds like another unforgettable experience. Very hectic, but very fulfilling and exciting, as you mentioned. But, looking at the NFL, this is just kind of a fun question. Is there one player, if you had to choose one player to match up against in the NFL, who would it be?
I feel like everybody says Tom Brady, so I'm going to try to find someone else.
Everyone does say Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm glad he came back though.
When he took that like month hiatus though, when we were doing interviews, people were like, I would say Tom Brady, but he just retired. But I think he's gonna come back, but I'm not gonna say it.
No, it's awesome. I'm happy he's back. I'm gonna say Matt Ryan because of the BC tradition that he has. And then, he's not in Atlanta anymore. And then he's on a new team. So it kind of like, he's learning a new system on a new coaching staff. So it'd be cool to see him in a blue and white uniform. And then, he has that rich history with BC. So that'd be pretty unique.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have a ton of guys that come from BC. Ones that just come right off the top of my head, obviously John Johnson. You have Simmons, you have Will Harris. I actually talked to at the Senior Bowl a few years ago. And the one I'm totally forgetting, I think that's on the Packers, the linebacker. I forget. His name is yes, I was a big fan of his coming out. So yeah, you've had plenty of guys, and obviously Matt Ryan is like, he's the face of the Falcons franchise, whether people want to admit it or not. I mean, he is. So kind of crazy to see him leave that team. We'll see what he does with the Colts. But, talking in terms of the NFL and different teams, we do cover the Rams during the regular season. We are a Rams podcast, Downtown Rams. So I got to ask you, have you spoken with the Los Angeles Rams in any capacity?
A little bit here and there. There wasn't anything formal, but, the buzz is there.
Buzz is there. I like it.
And Halfway's a pretty good friend, with the staff.
Okay.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Well, we like to hear that because we'd love for you to end up on the Rams, but we will be fans of you no matter where you go. Just hopefully it is on the Los Angeles Rams. But just to close this out here in your own words, who is Isaiah Graham-Mobley as a person and who is he as a player?
Yeah. That's a unique question. People don't ask that a lot. As a person, very outgoing and adventurous. Also, loving and kind. And then I love photography and videography. So, maybe LA would be the right place to go. But then on the field, completely different person in terms of personality, and I'm very monotoned outside of the field. So on the field, I'm a little louder, like to scream a lot. I tend to lose my voice after games. I do like being aggressive and making big plays and hitting hard. So, the aggressiveness is there. You see the emotion on the field if you watch any of the tape. So it's kind of like, a lot of people will say like Clark Kent and Superman in terms. Sometimes I've heard that a couple times. You put on the glasses, go to the newsroom, go to the Global, and you're a chill guy. But then when it comes time to action and defending your name on your back, now you got something to fight for.
I love that. That is that's a great answer, and I can tell like you're very down to earth. But then when you get on the field, then you're John, man. But you're also playing, you're laying the wood, so to speak, as they call it. One final question for you, kind of outside the box a little bit. I'm going to ask you. It's a 3-parter here. I'm going to ask you to recommend me and Alexis, so Alexis and I, a TV show, an album, and for Alexis, because she's obsessed with snacks, she would prefer that you recommend her a snack.
Please.
Okay. What have I been watching recently? It's so funny because like when you know exactly what you've been watching, you know exactly what you listen to, but then when you get put on the spot, you forget everything.
I'm here for that. I totally get it.
In terms of an album, so we had to take like a lot of medical exams during the NFL process. So like my go-to was listening to Lauryn Hill. Because she was like calming me down a lot. So I'm going to recommend The Score by the Fugees because it is fire and you should listen to it. And it's like super common, but also like super vibey. If you like Bob Marley, Jamaican type vibes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. But it's sort of like a mixtape kind of, if you will. So it's like, the vibe changes throughout the entire thing, but it's awesome. A show that I have been watching.
It can be an old show too. Just really anything.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Like Euphoria has kind of been.
That's funny. Yeah, Euphoria's been.
I was gonna say Euphoria
there.
is popular.
It is.
Like
it
right
is
now.
very popular. If you want to go back and watch something, I used to watch Smallville when I was a kid.
Oh my god!
It's another Superman movie. It's another Superman show. It's actually that might be a little classy too. Smallville's pretty good.
I've tried.
Heard great things.
I've tried. It feels so dated now.
It's so outdated, but it's like the first thing that's coming to mind. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So I would take it you would take DC over Marvel, right?
I was big DC growing up. Which is hilarious. I love the Justice League, Young Justice, like when I was growing up, and then Batman Beyond is like one of my favorite shows growing up. And then a snack. There's these like, I think they're made by Chex Mix actually, but it's like cookies and cream covered, just the Chex piece.
Yeah, it's
but
called.
They're like.
Mud Buddies? Is that what you're talking about?
Mud Buddies. Oh my gosh, they're incredible.
Okay.
They're so good.
They are good. I've had those.
Good.
They're kind of like, I don't know. When I was a kid, we used to call it puppy chow. I don't know if it's
I've
the
never
same
heard
thing,
of it before.
but that was like, maybe that's a Midwest thing, but like when people would like make it, they'd call it puppy chow. I figured that's not
awesome.
The real name, but yes, it is very good. Okay. So we got our 3 recommendations, all good recommendations, and I can vouch for the snack because I have had it and it's.
And we gotta hit him with ours too. We gotta recommend stuff for him.
Yeah.
This is give a penny, take a penny, not just take a penny and run away.
Okay, let me.
Like
you go first.
See,
right.
On the spot is hard.
It is hard. I'm just gonna pull up.
I mean, my only issue is I've been watching so much. Like I'm watching Gotham, so you're DC fan. Love the Gotham show. I will recommend Barry on HBO because it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Oh, you have? Okay, it's phenomenal.
Yes,
it's
awesome.
3 is coming out next month, and I cannot wait. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So since you've already seen Barry, I'll recommend Bel Air. One of the prospects that we interviewed was telling me to watch Bel Air. And it's like this modern day, reimagined version. If it was just a drama of the Fresh Prince, and it's so good, dude. Like it's really good. Like I was blown away. It's on Peacock. I recommend it.
Okay.
Album. I'm more into like rock and metal. I don't know if you're into rock at all.
I like all genres.
All right. So check out Horizons by Starset. That's my favorite band. And it's their album. It's their album that just came out. I want to say, when did that come out? It was last year, I know, but I don't remember the exact time.
Recommend him. Wait, which one did you recommend him?
I recommended him Horizons by Starset.
Okay, I would have done
Ice Nine Kills.
No. If I was doing Starset, I just would have gone Vessels.
Well, I mean, you just listen to anything Star said. I mean, it's unlike anything you've ever. So I'm a big fan of like unlike anything you've ever seen before, and it is basically it's called cinematic rock is the genre. So it sounds a little bit like Breaking Benjamin, Linkin Park mixed with like David Bowie and EDM.
Oh wow!
I told you it's different.
So I was trying to find something kind of similar to what you were saying, like kind of like a chill vibe. Do you like R&B?
Yeah.
So there's 2 albums, and I don't know how to pronounce her name. I think it's pronounced Nija.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of her. It's Nija. And she is kind of like, I don't know that she's new, but this last album, Don't Say I Didn't Warn You, is so good. And I hadn't heard of her until this album, but I was just scrolling through new R&B releases and I found this album and I love it a lot. So yeah, it's like honestly probably one of my favorite R&B albums after her album last year.
Yeah.
Was Back of My Mind. Yeah. Yeah. I might have pronounced her name wrong. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I need to look into her more, but I found that album and I really, really liked it. Awesome. And then as far as TV shows go, I'm gonna say the last thing that I binged watched was Good Girls on Netflix.
That's really good too.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is good.
You've seen everything.
I'm a media major, so I like to watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Then there's probably nothing that I mean, How to Get Away with Murder is old.
Very good.
That was one of my favorite shows. Yeah. All right.
I recently watched The Flight Attendant on
Oh yeah.
Oh, how is that?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
I remember my mom was like, it's not going to be good, and then it was actually really good. And then she started watching with it. She was like, oh my god, it's really good.
Oh my god. It's the title, man. You know, like there's what's the one, Alexis, that they keep showing the trailer for? Like every commercial had it, the cleaning lady. Like it's just the title that throws you off. I'm sure it's a great show, but it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not like, oh yeah, I want to watch the cleaning lady. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Also, Winning Time. Winning Time is awesome. It's about the Showtime Lakers. That's blown me away. 3 episodes in on HBO because it took the place of Euphoria. So it comes out every Sunday now. So good.
I'll try it out.
But
we left you with some recommendations. You gave us some recommendations. We appreciate it. I'll have to let you know. You'll have to let me know if you listen to that album. It's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
But thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Please stay healthy as the draft approaches. And again, we will be following along with your career and we will definitely be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. It was a great interview. Very good questions. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you taking the time. We're fans of you. Obviously, had a great time. And like Alexis said, we'll be rooting for you. Love to see you, wearing the horns, that helmet over there. But if you're not, we'll be cheering for you. And, I know you had some injuries and we're just hoping you stay healthy. You get a chance to do your thing because you got a lot of talent.
No doubt. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. You take care.
You as well.